What's up, movie freaks? So I just watched Mortal Kombat, and I thought I'd give you my quick thoughts.
What you got going on here?
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm gonna quick thoughts. The new movie.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Why are you here?
Oh, I live here now.
Mortal Kombat was directed by Simon McLeod, stars Louis Tan and Joe Taslim.
Joe, best pick for Sub-Zero. Best.
He's the best thing about the movie.
Honestly.
He's
Him
the
and
best thing.
the guy who played Hanzo Hasashi, Scorpion, was also really good. I was looking at him and he's been in a lot of movies that I know of and seen, but I just don't recognize him.
He's apparently a disciple of Sonny Chiba.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Sonny Chiba is?
I might know.
He's like legendary Japanese. He's like Japan's Bruce Lee kind of. I'm gonna kill you right now.
Does he do movies?
Yeah. Have you seen Kill Bill?
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who made the sword. He was the sword maker guy. That was Sonny Chiba.
I need it on the wall. I don't know names, dude.
Well,
Not very many. Anyway,
please excuse me now while I kill Ian.
I think it's safe to say that this is the best video game movie ever made. It does so much justice to the Mortal Kombat games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because, you know, Mortal Kombat movie, we're not asking for a fantastic masterpiece film. You know, we're not asking for Hanukkah to make a masterpiece. We just need it to be fun. We need elements from the game. Most importantly, we need fatalities that are bloody and gruesome. And
Not
this
only-
film delivers.
Yeah, not only that, but they put fatalities that are literally from the game, like copy-paste from the game.
Yes, and some of the fighting moves that they use are from the game. They played the games a bit, and then so kind of blended stuff from the game in with the real martial arts styles that they were using. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
This movie is so much fun.
So, let's keep talking about Sub-Zero because the way he used all the ice stuff. Number one, a lot of cool elements that they did new to it, but some were taken right out of the game. Like the clone that he makes, the ice clone. And then the sword, obviously. I can't think of anything else. Does he do the ice wall in the game at some point?
I think so.
The only thing that they didn't do, which is a little bit of a nitpick, was the ice slide attack. Because I was looking for it on the second watch, but it never showed it.
Yes, we have watched the movie twice already.
Yes. It's been out for like 2 days. And we've watched it twice. Yeah.
Now, all that being said, you know, the movie, it does have cheesy points. Liu Kang talking is pretty cheesy almost every time he talks. Sometimes it's kind of self-aware about it.
Yeah.
Like, they make a joke out of how, like, awkward and cheesy he sounds.
Right.
But he still does sound, like, pretty cheesy for a lot of
Yeah. And it was a little out of his character, too, because he's never been, like, a wise master speaking.
Yeah.
I guess in this movie it makes a little sense, just because of the premise of it. Yeah. And then I'm a little confused on a part. Because they never actually say that it is in the movie, but Reptile. I don't know if it's actually Reptile. Shang Tsung just says, send in the reptilian Cyclones or something. So I don't think it's actually Reptile, but I was like,
kind of meant to supposed. It looks like it's supposed to be. He even did one of Reptile's moves.
oh, he was doing the acid, invisibility, the tongue. That's 3 Reptile moves, so it's basically like the same species. And that's not Reptile. It did not work.
I think the biggest issue with Reptile in the movies that they've done, because I think it was in Annihilation maybe, is that they always make him more reptilian-like and like not humanoid at all, pretty much. Yeah. Whereas in the games, he's always been more humanoid with reptile features. I mean, he's gotten a little more reptilian in recent games, but still, they need to make him more humanoid, I think, for it to really feel like the character.
Yeah, and you can't just like get rid of the whole Raiden ninja costume. Yeah, I'd have to say Reptile was one of those big disappointments with the game. Yeah. Or the movie. Anyway! Now, one thing to note. Me and William here have never, and I mean never, been a fan of the character Kano. We've never liked him. I've played as him a couple times.
In games and movies.
Games and movies. Just Mortal Kombat as a whole. We've never really liked the character. In this movie, he's played by Josh Lawson, which I was looking him up. Never seen him in anything else. I guess it's just all like Australian cinema and stuff, but like, why hasn't this guy been doing the voice of Kano in the games? I like Kano now. What the heck?
He's actually enjoyable in this movie, and we didn't even like the character, so.
Yeah, it's like, where was this Kano? I like, honestly, the actor does have a lot to do with it. The comedy of Kano plays really well with other characters, because it would be like a typical line, and then he just plays off of that cliched line and makes it like actually funny, you know. This like cheesy line, Kano's character makes it actually funny because he plays off of it. So it was really nice to see, but that kind of dies off near the end of the movie, that comedic aspect of him.
But for most of the movie, he's pretty funny. He plays off of everyone really well. It's just towards the end it kind of disappears. But there's lots of other stuff going on at the end that keeps you distracted, so it's fine.
Yeah, you know, the climax of the movie. I was a bit worried about the new character being like the main character, Cole Young.
Honestly, beforehand, that was my biggest concern, was that they were bringing in a new character when they had this large roster of characters to pull from. Yeah. So I didn't know how that was going to work out. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So much so that I actually kind of hope that he becomes like an unlockable character in one of the games and you get to play as him, because
they could add him as DLC or something.
Yeah. What are the 2 weapons he has in his costumes is like very Mortal Kombat-like, you know? So it'd be cool, kind of cool. One thing that was very surprising was like the cast. Because like you had the typicals like Jax, Sonya, you know, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, honestly. Kung Lao was a very nice add-on to that. We're not expecting Kung Lao. And then it's just like a few of these second-hand characters that have only been in like 3 or 4 games. And Mortal Kombat has 11 games now. It's just like, whoa. Actually putting these guys in the movie, like, it was shocking. It was just like, okay.
Surprised to see them pull a couple of characters just straight out of left field. Like,
yeah.
that was pretty awesome to see.
The choreography is pretty good. Like we mentioned earlier, it was kind of like they took stuff from the game, made it into the what's this. There were a few awkward edits with some of the choreography. In particular, the little fight with Reptile when Sonya jumps, grabs a knife, and then just like immediately she's like doing a flip, slow motion, gets a knife, and it's tossed to her, and then she's like, and then just right there on Reptile stab.
Yeah.
That bothered me.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and I think it was a moment of they wanted to do this cool flip thing with her catching the knife, but then it didn't really make sense for into the next move that she was doing, so they just kind of made a weird cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall though, the choreography is decent. It's
nowadays.
really good when it's Joe Taslim. And
I can't remember his name. I was literally looked him up.
Yeah, the guy who plays Scorpion. When it's those two, it's great.
Oh yeah.
When it's other characters, it's a little bit less so. You can tell sometimes when they're cutting certain ways that it's probably because that actor isn't quite as gifted as Joe Taslim, so you can tell it's not like as good as it could be, but it was still like really decent. Like the cuts, they didn't make so many cuts that you couldn't tell what was going on. You could tell they were cutting sometimes to probably hide that, so and so isn't quite as good at this or whatever.
Yeah.
But you still had enough of like, I can see what's happening, I know what's going on. It's still really cool, but it's not blowing my mind like the Raid is with its fights, stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like that, but
yeah. And it is definitely not taken to camera shot around, dolly shot around, and have something black out the entire fight scene, and you only see Liam Neeson do, and then the next thing he's doing, and it's like retarded. That is I just had to bring that up because that is the absolute worst camera shot you could ever pick for a fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't shaky cam either, so
yeah,
it was nice.
As far as like American movies go, like the fighting here is pretty good.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a really fun movie. It's a violent movie. It's what we want from a Mortal Kombat film. If you are a fan of the games, I think you're going to have a fun time with this one. If you're not a fan of the games, you probably shouldn't watch it. What are you even doing? I think it has a pretty low critic score on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. But like the audience score is pretty high. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you're not into this, why would you even watch it? You're just wasting your time. But like I said, if you're a fan of it, it's a lot of fun. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, really fun movie. A lot of blood. Very worthy of it, It's Mortal Kombat, so there has to be a ton of blood. I mean, first 10 minutes, people getting their arms cut off and sword down their head, Oh yeah. Really fun movie. I'd probably go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10 also. Everything else about the film is just kind of like average. I mean, it's an action movie, so you don't really expect spectacular soundtracks or anything like that. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 is a good rating for this movie. Definitely recommend to everybody who likes Mortal Kombat.
Well, that's all we got for this one. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you feel like it. Comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.
My links are in the description.
Don't follow him.